More Saturday Night Jazz after the news.
From CBC News, The World This Hour, I'm Neil Kumar. Pressure is building on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step down, and this time it's coming from inside his party. As JP Tasker tells us, a growing number of anxious Liberal MPs are organizing a bid to force Trudeau out as party leader.
Fed up with the party's poor performance, a number of Liberal MPs are mounting a new effort to try and oust Justin Trudeau as leader. That's according to multiple sources who spoke to CBC News. Disgruntled MPs had hoped the devastating by-election losses in Toronto and Montreal this summer would have led to Trudeau's departure. But with no sign of him leaving, some Liberal MPs have decided to take matters into their own hands. They set out this week to recruit other caucus members to sign on to a document, sources said. These MPs are signing a pledge to support efforts to try and force Trudeau out. At least 20 of them have so far added their names to the document. Others have shown interest, the sources said. The Liberal caucus meeting was also heated this week. Some MPs were frustrated that Trudeau left for an international summit with some big questions still unanswered, like who will be the party's national director for the next election campaign, a position that hasn't been filled since the last one quit in early September. JP Tasker, CBC News, Ottawa.
Elections BC says there was record-breaking voter turnout for the first day of advanced voting, tens of thousands more than the previous record set back in 2017. Mira Baines has more on what could be behind it.
Advance voting began Thursday, and according to Elections BC, the numbers show a considerable jump. On October 10th, more than 171,000 voters showed up on the first day of advance voting. It's the most ever on an advance voting day in a BC election. Elections BC says it beat the previous record of about 126,000 votes in 2017. The 2017 election saw a tight race. The BC NDP's John Horrigan became premier after making a deal with the BC Greens for support, narrowly beating BC Liberal leader Christy Clark. Director of Communications for BC United Andrew Reeve, who worked on that campaign, says elections officials have been making it easier to vote early.
There's been an effort to make voting more accessible, increasing the number of advanced polling stations and advanced polling days. And more Canadians are getting out there early.
Mira Baines, CBC News, Vancouver.
The first of two advanced polls opened today in New Brunswick. The Liberals, the Greens, and the NDP, all hoping to keep Conservative Premier Blaine Higgs from winning a third term in office. Another advanced poll will be held on Tuesday. Election day is on October 21st. In Quebec, the provincial government is thinking about changing the way family doctors are assigned, all in an effort to manage the shortage of general practitioners. People with serious problems would have a doctor assigned to them, and healthier patients would go on a waiting list. The idea isn't sitting well with doctors or patients. Family doctor Danielle Martin is against the idea.
I see no reason why the people of Quebec should accept anything other than a commitment from their government to ensure that every single resident of Quebec has a family doctor and access to an interprofessional healthcare team.
The idea is part of negotiations between Quebec and the province's Federation of General Practitioners. In Calgary, where public libraries closed abruptly yesterday afternoon due to a cybersecurity breach, the Calgary Public Library says once they realized some of their systems had been compromised, they proactively closed all physical locations to mitigate any potential impact on users. Jay Zebiak is an IT security teacher at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology.
So depending what data was breached, if it's the users, they are all at risk of follow-on cyber attacks as a result of the loss of their data to the attacker. Typically that information can be used or sold via the dark web for various means, even creating false identities.
Zabiak says the library's operational data is also at risk. And that is Your World This Hour. Remember, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. The World This Hour is updated every hour, 7 days a week. For CBC News, I'm Neil Kumar.
And here's the weather forecast for Ottawa. Tonight, partly cloudy. Winds will be out of the northwest at 20, gusting to 40 tonight. The low is 1. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud with winds northeast 20 near noon and a high of 10. Mainly cloudy for Sunday night with a 60% chance of some overnight rain and a low of 2. More rain for Monday with a high of 7. Clouds on Monday night with a chance of showers and a low of 2, and more clouds on Tuesday with a chance of showers. The high is 6. That's the weather for Ottawa.
The CBC News app delivers the answers you want to know and need to know.
What an extraordinary scene.
The breaking stories that shape your world. Reporting from the scene onto your screens.
Crossing the 8 now. We're just approaching Gaza.
Your source for local news. Delivered when you want, where you want.
This situation has changed very quickly.
The CBC News app. Download for free.
Hi, I'm Jamie Poisson, and I host the CBC's daily news podcast. It's called Front Burner. Every weekday, we explore the big news